Actors, we've all got issues, so let's talk about them. You're listening to Actors with Issues, a self-help podcast for actors, by actors. Hello, ladies, gents, and non-binary friends. Welcome back to another episode of Actors with Issues, the self-help podcast for actors, by actors. Featuring special guests from TV, film, and Broadway, we take a deep dive into the world of entertainment and discuss what it means to be an actor today. I'm your host, Juan Ayala, and today I am joined by a performer you've seen in the Netflix series Trinkets, and his latest role is in the upcoming horror satire Skill House in theaters July 11th. Jacob Skidmore, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here.
Hi.
So let's talk early years. I'm curious, what was life like early on for you? When did little Jacob act for the first time, and when did it sort of click that like acting is what I was meant to do?
Totally. So I started off as a competition dancer, which is a very specific niche kind of dance that's like Dance Moms, where you like go to dance class for like 16 hours a week. And you learn like 7 dances, and then you compete them, and you're on like a performing company at a dance studio. So I started doing that in middle school, and that's kind of where I started performing, and getting on stage and getting comfortable being in front of people, and kind of where I learned that I liked performing. And then that kind of led into theater in Portland, which is where I'm from. And then I started to get professional jobs working in theater. And then that's how I started working as an actor.
And early on, what was sort of on your bucket list at the time? Was it a lot of theater? Did you think about delving into TV or anything like that?
Not at all. I wanted to be in the ensemble of Broadway shows for my entire life. That is what I wanted to do. I wanted to be I wanted to be in the ensemble of Wicked and just be in it until until I retire. That was my goal.
Yeah. And I'm curious early on, because actors, coming up, we have lots of different sort of like part-time jobs and whatnot to try and get by or whatever in between shows and whatnot. So was there anything that's like, what was maybe like one of your first early on jobs, or maybe the one that you remember the most, whether good or bad?
A non-acting job.
Yes.
Yeah. I worked at a hair salon down the street. And it was so fun. I live in West Hollywood, so it's very gay here. Yeah. And I worked at a barber shop, and I was like the front desk boy at this barber shop for like 2 years. It was really fun. I loved it. I was horrible at it, though. I was really bad.
And I'm curious with mentorship and things like that. Has anyone served as like a mentor in your life, in your career, or even just like someone that you could go to for advice or like to vent and some guidance and whatnot during all these crazy years since your career has started?
Yeah. So when I was in Portland, when I started to get in the theater, I joined this company called Staged. And I don't know if it's around anymore. It makes me very sad to think that it is not, doing and giving to young adults what it did for me. But it was this program in Portland that was like a pre-professional, professional theater company. And it was really intense. It was fantastic. And they also produced professional shows in Portland as well. So it was, I got to do an original musical and record a cast album from them. I got to, we had guest people come in. We had like Jason Robert Brown and Shoshana Bean and, and Adam Guan, and all of these like Broadway people come in and talk with us, and Barrett Wilbert Weed came in once from Heathers. It was so fun. Anyway, it was really intense. It was really, really important for me in kind of shaping, I guess, who I am. And the artistic director of that is Shanda Hall, and she is, she's amazing. I'm still in contact with her and talk to her often.
Yeah, programs like that are so important. And I love that the way you described it, that sort of like professional
Hmm.
company. That's so important because, when I feel like it's so intimidating when, young actors go from their sort of like local community theater to then their first like, equity call or something, and it's
Hmm.
the contrast between the two can be like so like jarring and all that. So it's so
Yeah,
cool that they had these folks like come in and sort of um, yeah, those Q&A sessions are always like, or workshops and things like that are so
yeah.
helpful.
It was incredible. It was incredible because there was an equity house in Portland. There were like I think two, maybe there's more now, but there was Portland Center Stage and Artist Repertory Theater, and we were like inside, like the offices for staged were inside Artist Repertory
Hmm.
Theater. So when we'd like go in for our classes and stuff, like we were around all of these like union actors going
Yeah.
in to their rehearsals for their shows that they're doing at the theater,
Mm.
and it was just really really fun to be in that community.
And fast forwarding to today, you
Hmm.
have TV under your belt already. You have this movie coming out, Skill House, as we said, just around the corner. What's this time been like for you? Sort of like pre-release, you're doing press, you're doing interviews like this. Has
Yeah.
it been like exciting? Are you a bit nervous for folks to see it? Are you excited? Is it a bit of both?
Yeah, I'm very excited. I've never done this before, so I'm like learning as I go, which
Yeah.
is really fun. And yeah, I'm having a great time. I've only seen the film once
Mhm.
since we
Was it
shot
like the
it.
final cut or like maybe
No,
a
so I don't even know
right
what it
another version?
is. So I'm just I'm very curious to see what the final cut is going to be. I'm really excited to see it in the theaters, and yeah, it's just a really cool time.
And for fans of the horror genre, because it is like sort of semi-satirical, talking about like social media and all that. Um, what do you think fans can expect, maybe in terms of like comparison? Does it give off some like Scream vibes? Is it more because like Scream is like a sort of a
Yeah,
satire on the genre itself as well, while being a great horror movie itself?
I think it's kind of like bodies, bodies, bodies vibes,
Love,
and like
yeah,
a Saw. I
yeah.
think it's
Oh,
kind
word,
of a
yeah,
mixture of those two.
yeah. I mean, two
Yeah.
great examples. I love Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. Great movie.
Hmm. Exactly. And the writer of the last couple Saw movies, he wrote and directed this, Josh Stolberg, and
Mhm.
he's fantastic. He's great.
Yeah. And I'm a firm believer that with every opportunity an actor has, whether it's like a two-line co-star or the lead in something, there's always something to be learned in each experience. So, what would you say you walked away from this experience having learned, whether it's about acting, the horror genre, filmmaking, or just about yourself?
Hmm. From Skill House. Yeah, I learned a couple things. I learned that if you have to scream all day, then you need to take Advil because screaming gives you a headache. And I didn't know that.
Mhm.
And then later on, I watched interviews with people who've been in horror films and had to scream and be very worked up for hours. And they all were like, "Yeah, you have to take Advil. Like it gives you a horrible migraine to be that tense in your like
Yeah.
face and head all day."
Yeah.
So that was a big takeaway for me. Was I was like, "Whoa, I need to take painkillers."
Mm.
Um, and yeah, I learned a lot about how to, I guess, what my process is when I'm doing something dramatic. The show I was on uh, for 2 seasons was Trinkets, and
Mm.
I played like a high schooler at the school, and I didn't really have anything where I had to like. It was never like screaming and crying and freaking
Right.
out. Um, so this was kind of it was the first time I've ever had to do that on camera, and I was kind of feeling out what my process was and how I was going to be able to do that, feeling it out for the first time while doing the movie.
Yeah, I always commend actors who are in the horror genre. Like I've interviewed quite a few people from who have done like possession movies or
Hmm.
like the. I always give such credit to them because of that having to be high stakes, high energy for so many
Yeah.
takes in a row. And
Hmm.
especially with horror, it's like the constant night shoots. I look at you guys didn't do too many, but like,
Hmm.
depending on the movie, if it's like, yeah, you're filming from sundown to sun up for 2 weeks, to get
Yeah.
these like dark outside, like I can't imagine like the stamina that one needs for that.
Yeah.
It's
And some people are able, I guess, I mean, Leah Pipes, who's in the film, is fantastic. And she's like able to like turn it on like that. And I commend her for it. And I need to like go up into my trailer and like be alone and like sob. I need to like sob for 30 minutes and then come to the set and be like, and then do it. I need
yeah.
like a lot of like isolation and preparation to be able to do it.
And we have what we call sort of our like $1 million question, as we call it on the show.
Hmm.
For lots of actors, when they leave college or their conservatory, they have this great base and these great skill sets that oh my God, that they've developed
Hmm.
for over 4 years, or however long their program was. But then it's like there's a whole other side of the industry that we don't know that much about. I don't know if they do it now, but back then they didn't teach us how to do a self tape.
Hmm.
They didn't teach. They'll give you great audition technique, but there's so much of like the technical and the business side of acting that they don't really teach. So, what advice
Hmm.
do you have for an actor who's like fresh out of school that maybe something you wish you knew that early on?
Yeah, I would say make as many friends in who are like working actors as you possibly can, and like share and communicate, talk about your auditions, talk about what you're doing, talk about what classes you're in. I think that's really important. I completely agree with you. I didn't know how to do a self tape until I was like needing to do them for real. So the people who were helping me with that were all, actors who've been doing this for a long time. And that I think is really important.
I always love the casting directors during COVID who are like very gracious and patient with
Hmm.
actors. They're like, actors, if you've never done a self tape here, and they give like a whole list of things like lighting and don't be in front of a busy wall or whatever. I was just like, oh, thank
Yeah.
you guys, because you guys know none of us have done this before, and um,
Yeah.
even the ones that I did before, it's like because self tapes were so rare, I would put in all this extra effort. I'm like, I'm gonna use my DSLR camera and
Hmm.
do 3 point lighting, and I'm like, well, if I get a last minute tape, I don't have time for that. I'm gonna put up my ring light like this.
I
I
know,
use my
I
gray
know.
wall.
Now I'm like, throw up the ring light. I'm doing this on my
Right.
iPhone.
Mind you, this is on my iPhone, and it's like way better quality
It
than
looks great. It looks
than
great.
it's got like the auto blur and all that. Like it adds a nice little cinematic quality to it.
I know.
Um, because especially like with like zoom cameras, I want like flatten everything out and
Hmm.
like everything. But I'm curious with we talked before we started recording. We talked about like career obstacles and whatnot. And you talked about your sort of moving process. So and
Hmm.
it was right before the pandemic. So what advice would you have for someone who's like moving to a new market for the first time, and maybe something that you wish you knew early on?
Yeah. So yeah, I moved to LA in like I guess officially in January of 2020. Um, and was like so excited to start my acting career. And then like everything shut down and I didn't it was just it was really, really it was really sad and it was really scary. And I think, I mean, I don't want to use the same answer that I used before, but the thing that really got me through it was having friends
Yeah.
who were in the industry, other actors, other working actors who are in the same boat as me. That kind of, you know, that kept me sane. Because we were all kind of feeling the same way. And that was really important. I think that, um, yeah. And yeah, yeah, exactly. Like, I think it's important to have as many like working actor friends as you possibly can. And yeah.
I mean, that's always advice that I give young actors whenever they may ask is like you have to find your little chosen family wherever it is you're
Yeah.
moving, especially if it's from like the East Coast to LA, where like I'm lucky where I'm in New York and my family's an hour and a half away. Like if I
Hmm.
need to get out of the city, they're, a train ride away. But like for so many folks, it's like a flight or a whole international trip,
Yeah.
just to see family or whatever. So it's like it is so important to like find your little chosen family, to not just like celebrate the wins and whatnot, but also
Hmm.
like you said, sort of like share what you're all going through and talk about that because
Yeah.
as we said before we started recording, the industry is very rough right now.
Hmm.
I feel like there was this big boom in content when all these streaming platforms came out, and now they're realizing how expensive it is to make
Hmm.
these shows, and now they're all sort of like moving to smaller markets or out of the country, so there's not a lot of work in New York or LA.
Yeah.
So
It's
much has
really
changed, and
isolating. No,
yeah.
it totally is. It's really isolating. LA is really isolating. Especially right now, if I didn't have friends to like call and run things by and complain and vent to about everything that's happening right now in the industry, yeah, I would not be doing well.
I mean, I feel like that is the case with a lot. I feel like a lot of us are just like a bad day from being like, I quit. I'm moving back home. Screw this. Screw acting. I don't want to do this
Literally
anymore.
every day is like this for me right now. It's crazy.
You wake up, we're like, okay, we survived yesterday. Great. One more day. One day
I
at a
know,
time.
exactly. I know.
And does anything come to mind as like a misconception about the industry that you thought earlier in your career, like maybe before you moved, that now you realize like, oh, it's not like that at all?
Yeah, I guess maybe I thought that there was more of a formula of like
Mm,
how things work. Um, uh, like A to B to C. And it really is like, I think it is really important from what I've learned so far is to just like eyes on your own paper, like focus on your focus
that's
on your
great.
own path. Comparison is the thief of joy. Like I think it's really important to know that, or I think it's really important to just like focus on your own to focus on your own path and your journey because it's different for everybody.
Mhm.
How the industry works for every person is different. So comparing yourself to other actors or other people, oh, this person's doing really well right now. Why aren't I not doing as good as them? Like that. I mean, it's just like it's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that there really isn't a formula. Like it's even and it's and a lot of times you have to figure stuff out like as you go. You don't get
Mhm.
a lot of practice doing even things like interviews like this. Like you don't really get practice doing that until you're doing press for something.
Right.
So it's kind of a lot of it is figuring it out as you go, which is really actually fun. I find it very fun.
Mm.
And yeah, if you like try and figure out or try to figure out reasons why things happen or like a formula, I think that you'll get stuck. Um, yeah.
Yeah. That's so true. Everyone thinks that it's like, or at least we hope it is like a steady trajectory. Like I'm a book couple
Hmm.
co-stars and then a guest star, and then a recurring, and then maybe I'll be a series regular. And it's like, if only it was that simple.
I
Uh,
know.
folks, like you said, it's not A to B to C. It's like A to R to B to F to D
Hmm.
to, then one day you accidentally become Z. And some people start
Right.
at Z. Some people start with the
Exactly.
series regular. And like you said, comparing is so silly because it's like they just happen to be in the right place at the right time and you
Yeah.
weren't. So get over it. It's like
I
it's so
know.
much easier said than done. I know that it's like, especially when it comes to auditions, folks always say like, I feel like there have been like a dozen interviews that I've done recently that folks talk about like it's so important to let go when you
Hmm.
audition. Don't put this pressure on yourself, but like you can't help it, because
Hmm.
it's like you think of the what if, like, oh my God, if I book this, this could be like the role that
I know.
puts me out there. But it's
And
so hard to
especially
not
right
do that.
now, yeah,
Yeah.
and right now when it's like I mean it's really hard in the industry right now. It's really hard to not be like it's been so long, like this is my chance. Like I
Yeah.
have to I have to like get this. And yeah, that can be really frustrating.
Yeah. Believe me, it is a struggle. Like for me, I have no problem saying this. I haven't booked in over 4 years. I've
Hmm.
auditioned so many times, and like I have like multiple TV credits on my belt and all that, and it's just like we said before, it's every day is like, screw this, I give up, I don't, whatever. And it's like, well,
Yeah.
you didn't even audition today, so what are you giving up? It's like, you know,
Exactly. And that's where it's like A to B does not equal C, where it's like you
yeah,
have a bunch of TV credits, you've done a bunch of work, and that doesn't guarantee you
yeah, not
like
at
a
all.
job,
Yeah,
unfortunately. And we're all like in the same, we're all sending out EcoCast, man. Like we are, at the end of
yep,
the day, we are.
yeah. Oh man, yeah. It's such a trip right now, and it's like I feel like more important than ever for young actors when they're like in school and whatnot. It's just like, look, get ready to be bored, and get ready to not act. You're training for 4 years straight to act. Get ready to not do that because
Yeah,
it's not it's not like a trade job where it's like, oh, I'm an electrician, great, we have a job for you. Doesn't,
exactly.
work that way. And yeah, but as we come close to the end of our time, we always like to wrap up with a game. So pick a number, one, two, or three, and that'll determine the game we play.
Okay, two.
Two. Two is it's time for life's big questions. We start with an easy one. If you could have any superpower, which would you choose?
Um, I would be able to see the future.
Is there a cost to that? Because I feel like power's that
I don't
intense.
care.
No. Okay.
Kidding. Kidding. No, yeah, it'd maybe be see the future, or it'd be like to talk to animals, I think would be really fun.
Oh, that'd be cute. Yeah. If you weren't in the arts, what would you be doing for a living?
Um, in the arts at all. So I
At
can't say
all.
like I'd be a writer or something.
Hmm.
I don't know. Being really sad somewhere. Being really depressed and sad.
I get it.
Um, I love driving. Maybe I'd be like a truck driver.
If you could go in for any role in a musical with like a day's notice, we'll say a week. I feel like a day is too intense. We'll change that to a week. Like let's say it's like, oh my God, we need someone to replace someone in this show. You've got a week. What show are
Mhm.
you that confident in that with a week you're like, okay, I'm good. Like I know that show like the back of my
Uh,
hand.
yeah. I could anything in La Cage aux Folles.
Oh, work. I love that show. Yeah,
Yeah, I could just hop in there.
yeah.
I don't even need a week.
Yeah. Would you rather the ability to speak any language fluently or speak English in any accent authentically?
Any language,
Which language? Would it
definitely.
be like any, like all, or is there like a specific one that you want to know?
Um, I want to be able to speak Italian really
Or
well, like really badly.
you really badly want to speak it really
I
well. Got
really,
it.
really, really badly want to like speak Italian.
Yeah.
Clearly, it's not working.
What is your favorite way to consume art? Movie going, TV watching, concerts, museums.
I like to sit on my couch and watch movies. That is my favorite way to consume art.
What movie or childhood, or sorry, what movie or TV show reminds you most of your childhood?
Um, Probably there's this movie called Saint Elmo's Fire.
Mhm.
Um, that it's like one of the quintessential Brat Pack movies.
Mhm.
And I watched that a lot as a kid randomly. It's about like people graduating college and like having a heart in like Georgetown. And for some reason I found so much meaning in it like as like a middle schooler. And that I mean I watch it all the time. That is like one of my movies that's on repeat all the time.
Mhm. What is your ultimate comfort food?
Coffee ice cream.
It's like best of both worlds. Love it.
It's the best.
What is the last movie you saw in theaters?
Oh, um, I saw the apple. I don't know if you know what that movie is.
Mm-mm.
I saw it at the New Beverly like 2 weeks ago. It's a musical, I think
Mm-hmm.
from 1980. Um, if you haven't checked it out, I highly suggest you check out The Apple.
The Apple. Is it like a stage show too? I feel like I know of a show with that name.
It's
No.
not. It is like it is I think what I heard is that the people who made it wanted it to be like a Rocky Horror type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it is just this crazy, crazy culty movie.
Mm-hmm. I'm thinking of The Apple Tree. There's a musical called
Hmm.
The Apple Tree.
Hmm.
Um, Also wanting to set out to be like one of the biggest cult hits ever. Like,
You
come on,
can't.
you can't do that.
Yeah, wait, what is it? All like what camp is like innocent. Like you can't like induce it. You can't
Yeah,
like you can't like go out to make something super campy. It's not gonna
right,
be as successful.
right.
I love the
Uh,
Apple though.
After a long week of filming, what do you like to do to unwind and recover?
Sit in my apartment with all of the lights off and my um, and with like a white noise machine. That
Just
is
a
what I like
vibe.
to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it. What is your go-to audition or karaoke song?
Um, Put your head on my shoulder is one, but if
Mhm.
it's like a theater thing, I usually sing stuff from Spring Awakening.
Word.
I love that show.
And lastly, in 10 words or less, what advice would you give to a young actor?
10 words, I won't be able to count it, so I'm just gonna say something short. A young actor.
Yeah.
I would say that one of the like maybe this is not good advice, but one thing that I was told early on is like don't have a backup in your career.
Someone just said that. Yeah.
Um, don't have a backup because if you have a backup, you'll do it. And that's
Yeah.
what my that's what my teachers taught me. So, and that's what I've always thought is like when I'm going through a hard time, I'm like, well, what else would I do? What else am I supposed
Yeah.
to do? What else would I do? So I think, I mean, it's kind of intense, but don't have a backup.
Yeah. It's
Just
true
do
though.
it.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Jacob, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us today. Really appreciate it. And again, congrats on the movie. I can't wait for folks to see it. I was hoping to get a screener so I could have seen it in advance, but alas, we
Mhm.
did not. Weren't able to do that. But if anyone wants to give you a follow on social media anywhere, where can they find you?
Yeah, I'm at Jacob.Skidmore.
Awesome. And folks, you can find more of us on Instagram at actorswithissues.com. You can follow us on TikTok. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can subscribe to the channel or to whatever podcast platform you're listening on. Thanks for joining us. Actors with Issues is hosted and produced by Juan Ayala. If you enjoyed today's episode, subscribe to our YouTube channel or on the podcast platform you're listening to. Visit actorswithissues.com for exclusive news and reviews, and give us a follow on Instagram and TikTok at Actors with Issues.